Shalom, man. Welcome to another installment of Equis Rants. This is going to be a segment where we talk about certain things that we wouldn't be able to fully discuss to the proper fidelity on a black narrative. And we kind of bring up points that are very relevant to the black community that might not oftentimes be brought up. And an example of such a point is the idea of challenging each other. Because I notice oftentimes, or well, not oftentimes, currently within the black community, a lot of people are breaking off into different spaces and echo chambers to where anybody that brings up a different opinion or questions an overarching belief or just overall might not agree with a certain thing is automatically seen as a dissenter. You know, somebody that's causing dissension, an agent, or any other, a tether, a coon, or what have you. And that's not a very healthy mentality to have. Now, if we're keeping to traditional meanings of certain things, if somebody's trying to truly cause dissension within the black community and trying to undermine the black community, then we call that out. But somebody having a differing opinion on, let's say, how reparations should be handled, or a different opinion on the origin of black people and all these different things, when you start to have these arguments, or even different opinion of faith, all these different things, when you start to get to a point where anybody that has a question for you or wants to challenge your mode of thinking is seen as negative, then you're never going to reach a point of enlightenment. You're never going to learn anything new. You're never going to refine yourself. And that's one thing that even in my personal life, you know, I like to have friends that will challenge me. For example, me and Black Guys, we don't always agree on everything, and that allows us to challenge each other and come to new conclusions and find a common ground between us and boil down two different viewpoints into something that's more even, and then we could move forward with that. And if you don't have the capacity to have these kinds of conversations in an adult manner, your cognitive ability will suffer. You will become dull. And it makes me think of, there's a song by Mick Jenkins called Truffles. And he has a line that I would like to read off. My niggas all think different, ain't the same. See, I figured if I want to stay sharp, mine got to keep me some sharp niggas. And that goes to show that if you want to advance yourself, if you want to grow mentally, spiritually, even physically to a certain degree, you have to keep people around you that are going to disagree with you, that are going to challenge you, that are going to, some would say, judge you, that are going to hold you to a standard. And it's funny because oftentimes you hear in the black community people talking about, oh man, people are so fake. This, that, and such, she's fake. He's fake. You know, but whenever they have somebody real around them and somebody that will tell them the truth or give them a differing opinion or just flat out tell them what they think, there's an issue. We need challenging situations to grow. If you are going to be complacent for your whole entire life, being comfortable is not conducive to growth. And I'll give an example in my personal life. I just recently had an interview for a job, and it was this young brother that was young. You know, I'll say he was maybe in his mid 30s, and you know, young brother, suave. You know, had you know, when I walked in for the interview, he had the record players. He had Drake playlists, all these. Like brother was hip. It wasn't what I was expecting during the interview, and he had a couple Hispanic dudes working with him, and I went to the interview, and I would say that I'm somebody that's decent when it comes to talking, and when it comes to interviews. But this interview was difficult because I didn't know what to expect. And at one point, I had to. There were certain things that I had to figure out about a customer while doing role play as somebody as an agent. I mean, of course, I am an insurance agent, but doing a role play as the agent that the customer is calling. Via conversation, I had to acquire certain information about the customer, and it was very difficult. I had to think on the fly. And another example was, he told me to tell me why they should hire me, but do it in Spanish. And these different things, while coming out of left field and really putting me on the spot, because you're already nervous. It's an interview, but when you have something coming out of the blue and you don't know what's coming at you next, you're on your toes. It was nice to be challenged in that way, and for the brother to see my ability and to feel comfortable challenging me. I really appreciated the way he conducted the interview, because I left there, I was like, man, that was nice. That was nice. I had to think on my feet. I felt good whenever I was able to maneuver around something or to articulate something. It didn't just feel run of the mill. It didn't just feel blah. I felt like I gained something from that. And even if I don't acquire the job, I really appreciated how that interview was done. And that's something that we need to do more in the Black community, is challenge each other. And the issue, or one issue as to why a lot of folks in the Black community are afraid of challenging each other, is because in the Black community, unfortunately, challenging somebody is seen as a form of disrespect. If somebody has a certain opinion and you say, well, I don't agree, it's automatically seen as disrespect. It's almost like you're trying somebody, and that's not even your intention. You really just genuinely are just saying your truth. You don't believe a certain thing, or you don't rock a certain way, or you haven't adopted a certain perspective, but automatically it's seen as it makes people defensive when you challenge them. And I always appreciate when I'm able to have a conversation with somebody and disagree, question them, and they just keep it civil. Because oftentimes people will get flustered, people will get upset with you, and all you're trying to do is speak your truth. Because look, if I don't agree, I got two options, and I exercise both of these options. Either if I don't think it's the time or place, or I really don't have the energy for it, I'll just be silent. I just let whoever is talking talk, and just listen to them, let it be that, process it later. But if I got the time and the energy, I'm going to disagree, and we're going to have a conversation about it. And that's something that I would love to see more within the Black community. And this is something that we hope to do here on the Black Narrative, is challenge people and promote a culture of mental stimulation, where people aren't just sitting having talking points spat to them all day and just consuming that and regurgitating, because you're not thinking. And that's something that we see too much in this day and age, is you got a lot of people that aren't thinking. If you take them outside of their comfort zone, which is these talking points that they've been fed like a baby bird swallowing its mother's vomit, they don't know where to go from there. They're taken out. They don't know what to think because they haven't thought about it. They've been told what to thought, what to think. I mean, what to thought. No, they've been told what to think. So we need to change that. Change that. And throughout the duration of the Black narrative, and throughout in the future of the channel, you're going to be challenged, and you're going to disagree. But that's fine, because at the end of the day, the final goal is Black elevation. Black sovereignty, Black thought. That's our goal here. And so don't flip out. I mean, you can, by all means, please do flip out. But if you want to flip out, bring your evidence. Bring your tongue. Don't come and bring the smoke. And then when you're asked to defend what you're saying, or you get a certain question, you lose your tongue. And also, when it comes to being challenged and challenging, we've all got to be humble enough to say, okay, well, I was wrong. Well, I was wrong. I was mistaken. Oh, well, I didn't look at it that way. That's how conversation works. Because you're not, if you're right all the time, then you're full of it. If you really believe that all your opinions are right, and your perspective is 100% right with no nuance, then you're full of crap. You truly are. And so let's try to challenge each other more and be comfortable with being challenged, because challenge is how you grow. If you're sitting complacent, you ain't growing. That's it.